Hello. I just did a live webinar and it didn't really work very well. The webinar software I use has just changed their technology. A few people missed out, and I really wanted to make sure that you get to see this content. So I thought I would just do a recording for you, and I'm going to leave a little box underneath where you can. Sorry, I'm just going to adjust my microphone a little bit. Where you can leave your comments. So before we pop into the content, I want to tell you a little bit about my story. Maybe you know it already. Maybe this is the first time you've ever come across me. So, anyway, I want to let you know where it all started. Now, I did start out as a postpartum doula about 10 years ago. And I originally was really passionate about Ayurveda and postpartum care. That was kind of how I came at it. And I started out doing it for free and for friends because I had time. I didn't have kids yet. But then I had a baby and suddenly I had less time than ever. I had less money than ever. And I had obviously this lived experience of the transition to motherhood, and it gave me a more deep burning desire to work in this area and to serve newborn mothers than ever. So at the time, my husband was setting up a charity, which he still runs. He's still the CEO of that charity. But of course, setting up a charity is, having two entrepreneurs in the house means that our income is always a little bit shaky. I couldn't at the time justify going back to do this postpartum doula work for free or for friends. I mean, we just didn't have the financial capacity to do that. So I had two options. I either had to go back to my office job, or I had to figure out how to get paid for my postpartum work. So I decided I was going to take the risk, and it was really important to me to do this work, to step into my mission, my life's work in supporting newborn mothers. And so it was about 7 years ago I hired my first business coach, my mentor, and that was really a huge turning point in my life. He told me that I needed to charge $3,000, and I completely flipped out. I said, that's impossible, there's no way. And he said, just try it. He said, you can't write it off without trying it. So I thought, all right, I'm going to give it a go. And then I'll come back to him and say, look, it didn't work. Let's figure out a plan B. To my, complete shock and horror, it actually did work. But, before I get to that part, I was so freaking out about the money, and this idea of $3,000 was just so impossible to me. I decided I would give a discount to my first 3 clients and only charge them $2,000. But I was so wishy-washy about money, and it was so difficult for me. I had all these money blocks. It was so difficult for me to ask for that money that I actually fumbled over my words, and I ended up telling this potential client, this first interview I ever had, I ended up telling her that it was going to be, sorry, this microphone's bothering me a bit. There we go. I ended up telling her that it was going to be only $3,000 instead of $2,000, and I was all over the shop. She actually couldn't understand what I was talking about and paid me $3,000, even though I had offered her a discount. Of course, I gave her the money back, but really I learned a lesson that I needed to have more confidence, more clarity, and I really needed to stay calm and learn how to overcome my own money blocks so that I could become comfortable with asking women for money and stepping into and really owning the value of the work we do in postpartum. So that was my first sale. Not too long after, about 18 months or 2 years later or so, I introduced a $5,000 package because the $3,000 ones were selling quite well by then, and I was like, okay, I'm onto something. Why not just try a $5,000 package? Again, not really expecting it to work. I actually sold 4 of those packages in the first year, so that's 20 grand, and that was only part of my income because I was still selling the 3 grand packages, and I was still doing some group work and various other bits of income as well. So what happened was my clients were really getting this deep transformation that they were looking for, and I was earning the money that I needed to make this work that I love sustainable and long-term. So I knew I discovered a business system that worked, and I really wanted to share it with the world. So everywhere I looked, I saw doulas and midwives and all different kinds of people working in postpartum, undercharging, struggling to get clients, barely making ends meet, and with all these money blocks too, with all these same limiting beliefs that I started out with as well. On the other hand, everywhere I was looking, there were so many mothers who were suffering in the transition to motherhood. They were feeling overwhelmed and isolated and exhausted. And I realized that I have a bigger mission. I really wanted to help connect the mothers to the professionals. It just felt like something that was so important that if I was going to make a really big impact, then I wanted to start teaching other postpartum professionals what I had learned about running a business. So a few years ago, I began teaching my system locally to postpartum professionals and then later online. And now I teach doulas and midwives, hypnobirthing practitioners, physiotherapists, yoga teachers, so many different kinds of postpartum professionals all over the world, how to run their businesses, as well as I have Newborn Mothers Collective, which you might have come across too, which is my my course, which is more about training postpartum work rather than the business side of things. So I teach both. Now, I first want to acknowledge that maybe you've been struggling for a really long time, or maybe you're just getting started. Either way, you probably are listening to this and you don't believe right now that $3,000 or $5,000 postpartum packages are possible for you. Maybe you're getting hung up on the details, like, but I'm not qualified enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not experienced enough. Or maybe you're thinking, I live in a town that's different to where you live. Everyone thinks that where they live is different, but I'm telling you, mothers are suffering in every place that I've talked about. In all of the developed modern world, I've been coming across mothers who are struggling. So there, unless you live in really rural, remote area, I'm sure there are people in your town who need your services. Also, the question I get is, are you talking about Australian dollars or US dollars or whatever? Believe me, these details don't matter. But just for right now, just put all those thoughts and judgments aside, any of the doubts that you have. Don't pay them too much attention, just leave them to one side. All I ask is that for this presentation, you stay curious, you stay open-minded. I'm going to step you through the system that I built, and I'm going to show you the blueprint of my business. And this is the same blueprint that I've shared now with dozens of other postpartum professionals just like you. And maybe, just maybe, by the end of this webinar, you will have realized that this is absolutely possible for you too, that you can build a thriving postpartum business as well. So I'm going to pop over to some slides, and if you have any questions, I'm going to leave a little box underneath where you can just send me your questions. And because it's not live, because we're pre-recording because of technical difficulties, then I will just answer you later by email. All right, thank you. I'll hand over to the slides and see you in a second. All right, in this webinar, this free training, we'll be looking behind the curtains at my thriving postpartum business. So I will share with you a week in the life of a postpartum doula, the systems and technology I use to leverage my time, and the single best investment that I've ever made personally to up-level my business. Now, I'm going to move pretty fast. I know you're busy. Will probably take about an hour, maybe a bit less. And if you are confused, just let me know. If you need clarification, just shoot me a question below. I really want to make sure you understand, but I also don't want to take up too much of your time. So let's go. This is not for you if you want to get ahead for yourself without helping others. If you can't be bothered putting in the work, there really isn't any magic bullet. What I'm going to share with you is it takes time to implement. And also, this isn't for you if you don't have skills or ethics, okay? I'm assuming you have done some training, you have some experience as a postpartum doula, or whatever your profession is. And this is really just about how to run your business. Now, this is for you if you believe that birth, hang on a second, let me just bring that slide up. If you believe that birth is about making mothers too, if you are ready to take action and make change, you've really got to be ready to get started right now. And if you want to learn new strategies and overcome old money blocks, we'll be talking a lot about money blocks. I've already talked a bit about money blocks, and I will be covering a whole heap more too. But for some reason, you are struggling to get new clients, you aren't earning what you are worth. Sorry, there we go. Or you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't know where to start. It's also possible you've already started your business and you're just ready to get some leverage. I'll share with you one of those stories as well in a bit. What I'm going to teach you today is going to help you tremendously. So you're in the right place. Listen in. Now, always start with making money. Now, sometimes people freak out when I say this. So before I explain, let's just approach this topic head on. I just want to start by clearing up one big fat money block. People always say this to me: I'm not in it for the money. I know you're not in it for the money. There are lots easier ways to make money than becoming a postpartum doula or, whatever your chosen postpartum profession is. So don't worry, no one makes that assumption. So there are lots of other stories about money that you might have in your head. You might be thinking, I'd rather be happy than rich, as though you can only have one or the other. What if you can be happy and rich? One of my ongoing stories in my life is that rich people are boring and they're not creative. I know that's not true. I know it's not true. I have lots of rich friends who are happy and creative and interesting. They're not at all boring. Another story that some people have is, I hate money. I wish I could just win the lotto. Can't someone else just take responsibility for me? It's much easier for you to earn money and take responsibility for your money than it is to win the lotto. It's, winning the lotto is quite a hard thing to do compared to actually setting up a business, that's got much more guaranteed results. Another money block that a lot of doulas have is feeling like, I love it so much, I love this work, I can't make money from it, it's just too easy. You can make money from it. You are allowed to love your job. That's okay. So if you are having these feelings about money that, might be holding you back from making money, you're going to be back in an office job very quickly. You need to figure out how to make money as well as how to run your beautiful postpartum business in service of mothers. And look at it this way: the more mothers you serve, the more money you make. So your money is directly related to the impact you're making in the world. So let's start having a good, loving relationship with money. So always start with making money. It's really easy to get distracted by replying to emails. Maybe you're sending a million text messages to a time waster who's never going to hire you and doesn't value your time. Maybe you're spending ages making your website pretty, or just getting like the exact right shade of blue for your logo, or finding the perfect business name. But during the startup phase of your business, 80% of your time should be spent on growth activities. So you should be spending a lot of time on getting clients, directly getting clients. And if it doesn't produce almost immediate results, then it doesn't go on the to-do list. So this is the power of simplicity. I don't want you to get overwhelmed and distracted by things like social media, SEO, fuzzy goals, shiny object syndrome, lack of boundaries. I want you to ask yourself, when you're taking action in your business, will this action directly help me get a new client? And be really honest with yourself. What have you done this week that has drained your time and got you 0 new clients? So today I'm going to teach you my unique marketing and sales system that has helped me and many of the postpartum professionals that I've worked with to charge upwards of $3,000 and even $5,000 for our premium transformational postpartum packages. So I'm going to share that system with you in just a minute. Now, simplicity is always the answer. Complexity really is your enemy. I have 3 young children, so I really don't have time to burn or money to burn. So making my business really simple, it has really become an obsession of mine because I want to be able to keep doing this whilst I'm also being the mother that I want to be. So it has to be leveraged and it has to be automated. It has to be simple and make sense. So I think anyone can make something sound complicated, and a lot of people will do that to sell you stuff. You know, they'll say, oh, you have to learn all about SEO because they're trying to sell you their SEO package. You don't need to know anything about SEO. I don't hardly know anything about SEO. What you need to know is the simplest and the quickest path to making money so that you can do this work that you love and make this really big impact on the world. I also believe simplicity is the answer because it means you have less moving parts in your business, which reduces overwhelm, it reduces headaches, it helps you stay more focused and productive, and it also means that your technology is less likely to break. When you have lots of different pieces all talking to each other, it's much more likely to be taking up your time and making sure that those things are always working. So I have managed to simplify my postpartum business into just 2 stages, which I'll share with you in a moment. But first, I want to introduce you to Jo. This is Jo from Auckland in New Zealand. And when we met, she was already running a busy pregnancy spa and wellness center. She's a yoga teacher and she does massage as well. She had plenty of clients, but by the time she paid her rent and her bills and her staff, there were a lot of overheads in her business. There really wasn't a lot of money left for her. And she also felt like she was doing a whole lot of administrative work and not enough of the work that she really wanted to be doing, that deep, long-term, transformational work with new mothers. She saw a gap in postpartum care as well, but she really just didn't know where to start. So she joined the mastermind and started working with me about a year ago. In March 2016, and I set her up with a marketing system that I'm going to show you today. And by May, she'd signed up 2 $3,000 postpartum clients. And then just last month, she let me know, listen to this, I'll show you. She says, hey ladies, first of all, I want to share my good news. 2 packages sold this week, and I think both of them are going to be the premium one-on-one, i.e. 5K. I'm so happy. And she goes on to ask some questions. So she made $10,000 in 1 week. Of course, she had to deliver the work. But the point is these results are replicatable. They're repeatable. You can do this too. Jo is doing so well now that she's looking to train a team of postpartum doulas through my Newborn Mothers Collective course, and so that she can keep getting leads and passing the business on to other people because she can't manage that many clients herself. So is this your life's work? Sadly, there is a growing need for postpartum support. You've seen the gap, maybe you've experienced it yourself, and here's just a few examples. 80% of newborn mothers feel exhausted and overwhelmed. 2 out of 3 don't meet their own breastfeeding goals. I find this really heartbreaking because they're not goals that are set by the World Health Organization or anything. These mothers want to breastfeed. They are trying to breastfeed. They don't have the support that they need. The leading cause of maternal death is suicide. Of course, that's the pointy end. I don't work at the pointy end, but there are a whole, it's the tip of the iceberg. And underneath that tip is so many women who are suffering in so many ways. And as a result, their babies are suffering too. So these are just some of the many reasons that I'm passionate about helping postpartum professionals like you get the message out into the world, get paid what you're worth, and make a huge impact. Now, a mother is born in Australia every 2 minutes. Don't you think that's amazing? Every 2 minutes. There's so many clients out there who need your support, and so many of them are really struggling in this transition. So, let's figure out how to get the clients with the professionals. You can get the money you need, you can do your life's work. They can get the support and the transformation that they need too. Now, postpartum work is changing. The old way is dollars for hours, cleaning and childcare. There is nothing wrong with the old way. It is still needed, but it's incomplete. And what I find it doesn't acknowledge, and this is what I was finding really in all of the postpartum training that I was doing, it doesn't acknowledge the journey of deep personal transformation that we go on as we transition to motherhood. And it doesn't teach us as professionals how we can support this more deeply. The new way is these premium life-changing packages. So if you want to work in loving service of newborn mothers and you really want to facilitate their transition to motherhood with peace and joy, then this new way is for you. I personally work in a way that acknowledges that the birth of a mother can be more intense than childbirth, and that motherhood changes us from the inside out. So I think the real value of postpartum support lies in ensuring that this transformation is a positive one. This is the work that you can do. So just to see if we're on the same page, if you're thinking like, yes, Julia, this is me, this is what I want to be doing, or you're like, nah, it's not really my thing, it's not really what I had in mind. So this is my philosophy at Newborn Mothers. A recently born mother whose strength is asking for help. She acknowledges that the birth of a mother is more intense than childbirth, and that she is as sensitive and vulnerable as her baby. Her heart is wide open and her needs are high. As she nourishes herself, she nourishes her children. So this is really the philosophy that underlies everything I do here at Newborn Mothers. It's something we put together with my clients when I was making my recipe book probably about 4 years ago. Now, what happens in my day-to-day life? I'm not currently working with postpartum clients. I have a baby right now and I'm focusing more on my online work while he's little. But typically when I was working more actively as a postpartum doula, this is what my week would look like. I'd work within school hours, even though my kids aren't all school aged, but I would drop my kids wherever they were going at school, or my husband worked part-time. At various stages. My son was in daycare for a short time. So, I'd get rid of my kids for the day as normal. Then I would come home, reply to a few emails. I'd write maybe a blog post. I only did one blog post a month when I was starting out. Now I do one a week. And I would send an email newsletter. Again, only one a month. So that's not a daily thing or even a weekly thing. When it comes time to visit a client, I would do maybe 2 to 3 postpartum visits a week. There were times I was busier than that when, you can't always help, obviously, when babies are born, but I did find if I did more than 3 postpartum visits a week, I started to feel a bit stretched. Sometimes I would have to do 2 in one day, which would be a bit difficult to squeeze inside school hours. A typical visit is usually about 3 hours, and it depends on each client what they need. I usually do massage, cook food, have a cup of tea together, have a laugh or a cry together. I support them with breastfeeding. We discuss whatever's going on for them, whether there's visitors or difficult in-laws. So the visit really is tailored specifically to that woman in that week. I always leave feeling pretty blissed out, go and grab my kids and get on with my usual mum stuff, cooking dinner and breaking up fights and all of that kind of thing. So that would be about 3 days a week that I would either be with clients or working on marketing if I didn't have a client on that particular day. And then about probably 3 times a month, I would go out in the evening so that I could spend some time meeting potential clients. And I would do this outside of usual working hours because it's really important for the man to be there as one of the key financial decision makers. And also emotionally, it's important that the man trusts me, or the partner trusts me to care for their wife or their partner and their child. It's really important to have that level of trust. So they've got to be involved in the decision-making process. So I would go out and see them usually at about 7 o'clock in the evening. And we'd spend an hour or so chatting about their vision for their family and postpartum. I'd uncover what might be holding them back and hopefully they'd sign up as a client. And then also about once a month or so, I'd work on a Sunday. And on a Sunday, I would go and deliver my free workshop. Again, these are on the weekends because we want pregnant women to come along whilst they're often still working full time. So we do it outside of working hours. And we want dads and partners to be able to come along as well. So I'd go and deliver the workshop. It's usually about 2 hours, and I'd educate them on the value of postpartum. And at the end of the session, I would offer them a one-on-one, so they could come and do what most people call a doula interview, and I would call it more like a consultation. And I will step you through a little bit about what I do. So, listening to that, what do you notice about my week? How much time do I spend with clients? How much time do I spend with everyone else? What do you think? Because this is what most doulas don't realize. I'm telling you this, I'm stepping you through my time, how I spend my time in my business, because I want you to know how much hustle it takes to run a business and to get a client. So if you are charging $30 or $40 an hour, or maybe even $50 an hour, you are probably not really making money. It's quite difficult to earn money if you're charging that much. And maybe you've noticed that by the time you pay for your petrol and your insurance and your website and your domain name and your bookkeeping and your taxes and all of that kind of thing, there's probably not an awful lot of money left for you. You need to be charging twice what you want to earn per hour, because only half of your hours will be paid and half of them will be unpaid. This is really important for anyone in business to understand. This is why plumbers have like a call out fee, and taxis have flag fall, because so many hours that you work in your business will not be paid hours. So the unpaid hours will include things like travel time, professional development, sick days, holidays, superannuation if you're Australian, free workshops, marketing and sales, potential client interviews. There are so many things that you do that don't get paid. So if you're charging $30, you're actually only earning $15 per hour that you work in your business. Now, if you have figured this out and you've started to try and charge premium pricing, maybe you have thought, I need to be charging more, and you've put up on your website that you have a 3K package or that you charge $150 an hour, then probably what's happened is you've listed it on your website and potential clients see it and think, I have no idea who you are, I don't know what you can do for me. That's really expensive. It's big and it's scary, and you haven't spent the time to get to know each other and for them to understand your philosophy and to trust you before you ask for the money. So then you feel rejected and you take it personally and you think this is never going to work, but it's not true. It will never work if you do it that way, but there is another way. So let me show you my two-part business model. This is very pretty graphic that I made. I will eventually make it prettier, but so far that's all I've got for you. You can totally steal this blueprint and make it yours if you want to just jot it down as well in front of you. I want success for you, and I want peace and joy for newborn mothers. So I'm going to share these 2 steps with you, this really simple 2-part business system. The first thing you need to know is that the mistake most postpartum professionals are making is by offering their premium price packages to cold leads. So as I mentioned, you just put this massive dollar figure up on your website and cross your fingers. It's some people in business call it hopium. You're living on hopium. You're hoping that someone's going to buy. But what this is like asking someone to marry you on the first date. They don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, they've got no reason to make such a big commitment or such a big investment in you yet. So it's kind of like trying to get a hole in one. It's really like, you might get the occasional client, but it would really be lucky. Even Tiger Woods doesn't really get a hole in one very much. So what you need to do instead is break your marketing down into 2 parts, the hole in 2. So again, your first part is this marketing game, the long game up here. So again, that's the golfing idea of the long game. And down here is your short game. So let's have a look at how this works. So the hole in 2. Now, I don't play golf. I don't play any sport. And you might be laughing at me because I might get some of the terminology wrong. But I do like this analogy. So I think it's a good way to understand marketing. But really, how embarrassing. If I get some of it wrong, let me know. So hole in 2. So you're going to break your system down into 2 parts. And the first part is marketing. So marketing is what gets lots and lots of leads down the fairway. Some of them will land on the green, some of them don't. You don't want to waste your time with the balls that don't land on the green. They are not a good fit. So you don't think of this as rejection. You just think of it as helping you find your ideal client and making a big change in the world. And you're not going to waste your time on people who aren't aligned with your values, who aren't a good fit for your programs, and who aren't going to get really good results from your work. So that's what the long game is. The second part is sales. Now, the short game is where you just stand on the green and you just only put your effort and your energy into those really easy balls to get in the hole. So these ones are a good fit, and this is where you jump in with your high touch sales. And when you do your marketing right, your sales are really, really easy because all your leads are pre-qualified. They've had a chance to opt out. So is this making sense? Am I moving too fast? Let me know if you are completely confused and you have questions. And I'm going to just step you through the long game, and then we'll have a look at the short game as well. So the aim of the long game in golf is to hit the ball as close to the hole as possible, okay? So marketing should do the heavy lifting for you with most automated and leveraged way possible. And this is where you use technology and groups. So it's called a sales funnel because you want to reach as many people as possible, and you want to filter out the time wasters and the non-ideal clients before you start selling. You will market to a lot of people, but you will only sell to a few. Okay, so this is the long game. Now, here's an example of my long game. Traffic, there's a lot of traffic. We might have, like, you think of traffic is like visitors to your website, and if you need an analogy, it's like people walking past your shop. If you have a retail shop on a high street, then people are just walking past, they might do some window shopping, but most of them will keep walking. So you need a lot of them, because the people who come to your website, a lot of them will be like, oh, I live in the wrong place, or I'm not pregnant right now, oh, this is not for me for whatever reason. They're just going to keep on walking. So that's your traffic. You know, you might have like 100 people walk past your website. Your list maybe has 30 people on it, say like a third of those people. That would be quite good if a third of the people then enter their email and join your email list. So the way that you get people on your email list is by offering them something in return. So I usually recommend that you run some free pregnancy classes, and you get people to pop their email address, and then you send them an email with the invitation and the dates and how to book. So these is like if people are walking past your shop, this is when they walk into the door of your shop. You know, these are the people who are in the shop. You want to make sure you retain those email addresses so that when they walk out of the shop, you can keep marketing to them, because you're going to keep emailing them. And then finally, you get down to the bookings for your free workshop. So again, you'll lose some people along the way, because some people maybe can't make the date. Some people are just busy and they forget about it, and you know, there's lots of different reasons. But then you might end up with, of those original 100 people, 30 people sign up by email, and only 10 people maybe come to your workshop. So that's a little bit of an idea of what that long game looks like. And here's some of the tools. I use Squarespace for my website. I use MailChimp for my email list. It's free. I use Eventbrite, which is free for free events. And for further automate your system, you can use Calendly for people booking one-on-one interviews with you as well. So write those tools down. Calendly is free if you only have one event type. MailChimp is free if you have a small list. Eventbrite is free for free events. Squarespace isn't free, but I think it's worth the investment of, I think it's about $5 to $10 a month. It's not expensive. And that will just help you build your website. So that is the long game. I hope that makes sense. Again, let me know if you have questions. So let's have a look now. We've done the long game. You've had traffic to your website. They've entered their email on your list. They've made a booking into your workshop. Now the workshop is where you transition to the short game, because the workshop is still leveraged, because it's still one-to-many, but it is in real life. It's not an automated thing, because you still have to show up and actually do a workshop every month. So that's where it transitions to this more high-touch selling system, where you then start selling one-on-one, your short game. So let's see the short game. The aim of the short game in golf is to putt the ball into the hole very gently and easily. And if you're doing your marketing right, then sales should be easy, because you're not being pushy. You're not trying to sell to people who aren't interested. They've already opted in at various stages. They've seen your website and said, yes, this is for me, given you their email address. Then they've looked at your workshop and gone, yes, this is for me. They've bothered to book into your workshop. They've shown up, you know, so every step of the way they're making these little micro agreements and taking little baby steps. So again, you think of this as having like lots of dates rather than asking someone to marry you on the first date. You're warming up the leads, you're building it up. Now, you can't sell premium price packages off a website. So this is where you need to introduce your higher touch sales system. This bit can't be automated or leveraged. It really has to be you. But I want you to know that selling is actually not scary. I know it sounds scary and most people freak out about it, but it's really good selling. It's just about human connection, about relationships, about building trust. And I know that you're good at all of those things about connection, or you wouldn't be doing this work. So because your time is the most precious thing you have, more precious than money, then you need to make sure that you are spending your selling time with the right people. The long game filters out the wrong people automatically. So they can opt out before they even meet you. That way, you don't have to be rejected so personally, so face to face. And the people that you are selling to, they've already self-selected. And it just means you're going to have a higher sales rate and less rejections, which can be quite emotional. And you're going to be less pushy because you're only going to be selling to people who have already expressed their interest explicitly. Potential client interviews. So this is the high touch system. I prefer to call them consultations because it makes them sound more valuable. And as I mentioned, you don't have to be good at sales. In fact, it's better if you are not a salesperson, because what you're really aiming for is deep listening. You want to be expressing empathy, drawing out their fears and hopes, and demonstrating that you understand what you are feeling, what they are feeling. It's all about emotions, and you really want to be able to demonstrate to them the transformation that you can take them on. Now, when you do it right, it's really more like you're interviewing them. You're going to take control of the situation and you're going to go in with a bunch of questions to ask, and you're going to listen to their answers rather than the other way around. They might have some questions for you too, but you really want to be controlling the direction that interview takes. And this is where this magic script comes into play. I've got something that I teach my mastermind clients so that they can sell in a way that's not at all sleazy, in a way that's really magnetic and empathetic, and a way that works, that really demonstrates the value of the investment. Which brings me to the biggest investment that I've ever made in my business, which is mentoring and mastermind groups. So before we go on, again, let me know below if you have any questions about potential client interviews. I'm very happy to answer them. Now, Newborn Mothers Mastermind, I created this program because it's what I've always been looking for. Every time I've been ready to grow my business, I've found that courses don't quite cut it. You really don't just need more information and more strategy. What you need is follow through and accountability. I've never been able to take these big leaps in my business or in my personal life without mentors and without peer support. And it's been such a huge help to get me through those growing pains and get me to the next level. Now, the problem has always been that my mentors and my mastermind groups have always been outside of my niche. I've never had the opportunity to work with women who are as passionate about postpartum as I am. So now, with about a decade of experience working in postpartum and even longer running a business, because I was running different businesses before starting my postpartum business, I'm ready to share with you what I've learned along the way. So here we are. I created Newborn Mothers Mastermind. Now, this mastermind is for you if you know that this is your life's work. You might be a midwife, a hypnobirthing practitioner, a birth photographer, a yoga teacher. There are many different people who join my programs, but we all have one thing in common. We are really passionate about transforming the way that newborn mothers experience postpartum. Now, I've just noticed there's a mistake on the slide, so I'm going to let you know when we get there. Hang on a second. This is for you if you are in it for the long haul. You must be 100% sure that your life's work is in supporting newborn mothers in some way. You might not know exactly how that looks. Maybe it's going to be a combination of group services and one-on-one services. Maybe you're going to teach some classes as well as have some ebooks. Then maybe run retreats. There might be a bunch of different ways that you do this, but you really have to have this mission in your life that you want to support new mums. Now, ignore this. It is not for you if you want to run an online business at all. But it is for you if you understand the power of women coming together and mentoring each other. When you're ready to up-level in your life and your business, you must also up-level your friendships and mentors. You probably already have awesome friends and family, but are they entrepreneurs? And do they get it? Maybe there's people asking you, oh, why don't you just go and get a real job, or I can't understand why you're wasting all this time. And it's really valuable to be supported by powerful women who are determined and ambitious and who are helping you move forward instead of holding you back. So, is this you? Are you nodding along? To help you know if it's the right step for you, I want you to meet Amber. She was actually the very first person who joined up to this mastermind program when I started it about 18 months or maybe 2 years ago. Now, Amber said, big win. I held my first workshop, which was good practice for better ones to come, and I officially sold my first package at over twice the rate that it was before for the same number of visits. I am now including and emphasizing my services, which I really love to provide, talents which I haven't always incorporated before into my doula work. I'm also realizing the power of honing in on an ideal client, and I'm understanding how powerful deep listening can be. It's what we all want and need. Jumping in is scary, but the water is fine. Thank you, Julia, and all of you amazing ladies for so much inspiration and support. It was really great to work with Amber. So how do we do this? How do we get these kinds of results? There are really 4 main ways we work together. And the first thing I do with all my mastermind clients is clarify your vision for your work with newborn mothers. So we'll spend some time together going deeper with your mission and vision statements. We'll figure out what it looks like for you to feel relaxed and confident in your new role as a postpartum professional. Then we'll work together to break that vision down into actionable and achievable steps. So the clarity will liberate you from advice and people who don't understand your business or don't understand your unique business model. The results you get in your life are because of actions you take. So if you want different results, you really have to take different actions. And together, we will work out which are the highest leverage actions and behaviors and make sure that you do them first. Next, we uncover unhelpful thoughts, feelings, and judgments to create lasting change. This is the inner work. You will learn how to master your inner world, and make no mistake, this is half the work. So many people learn the strategy, they know the information, but they can't get ahead, they can't really put it into place because they haven't done the inner work yet. Now, I know from experience that starting a business is the biggest journey of personal development that I've ever embarked on, aside from becoming a mother. And I know that you'll be a different person by the end of this year. So I'm here to make sure that that change is a really positive one. I want to make it easy for you to think the thoughts and feel the feelings of success. Now, finally, we build your village so you don't feel like you're swimming against the tide. You will stay committed, motivated, and accountable with weekly support. You will connect more deeply with like-minded postpartum professionals who you will chat with each week in the group and on the phone. And these people will give you the support, confidence, and love that you need. It's really about aligning your collective space and optimizing your environments for success. You'll get concrete solutions, but you'll also get uplifting connections and new friendships with bold and like-minded women. How does this all sound to you? Does that sound valuable? And do you have any questions so far? Let me know. The details, so that's like the how we work together, the what do we actually do? The 5 steps to success that we cover in the program are The first step is your niche and target audience. You will help to find your unique flavor. You'll do some market research. I'm going to really encourage you to get completely obsessed with your ideal client's dreams and fears. That way you can really connect with her, and she'll be thinking, oh my gosh, how does this woman know exactly what I want and need? You'll also find your secret sauce, your unique selling proposition, and you'll be able to communicate what you do so that you can connect with your ideal client and her heart's deepest desires. And this really is the secret to selling. Step 2, which is what everyone wants to know first, is packaging and pricing. I'll teach you how to stop charging dollars for hours and to create life-changing premium programs for newborn mothers, which are based on your own unique skills and talents. You don't have to cook. You don't have to be a yoga teacher. You don't have to do massage. You will have your own unique set of skills and talents that will make you different than any other postpartum professional, and better for your ideal client. Okay, so it's really just about understanding that, not being a jack of all trades. We'll work on your sales funnel. You'll build out your sales system so that it sells with service, content marketing, rather than being pushy or sleazy. You'll serve newborn mothers with inspiring and information and stories so you can change people's lives before you even start selling to them. Now, systems and technology comes next. I am a real systems freak. As I mentioned before, everything is about simplicity and minimalism. So I'll teach you how to leverage your time with the power of internet marketing. You'll build your dream website, grow your email list, get connected on social media. And this is where we look at building systems that are automated and repeatable so that you can work with more mothers in a sustainable way and you don't burn out. Now, step 5 is leads and traffic. So we'll work on things like referrals, partnerships, and networking. And you'll find like-minded professionals who love and value your work and are happy to share their audience with you. Okay. The structure is usually the thing that people ask about next. How does it happen? What do we do each week, you know? So you get 1 year's access to the weekly group calls. This is really the best and most valuable part of the program. You don't have to show up every week, but I recommend that you show up as often as you can. The more you show up, the more you will get. These weekly group calls are a chance for you to connect with other women on the same path, and we'll set goals together for the week and keep you accountable. These calls are recorded, so if you miss them, you can listen in later. You can ask a question. If you can't attend live, you can ask me a question before and then listen afterwards. Plus, you have access to the entire archive. So there's more than 50 calls already recorded, and you can listen to these anytime while you're driving, while you're folding laundry. You can completely immerse yourself in postpartum business strategies and tips. This alone is worth so much. I can't even tell you, even if all you do is listen to the weekly call recording archive, you'll get so much out of this mastermind program. You will get a 1-year membership of our Facebook community. So in between calls, this is a really safe and supportive place for you to share your work, for feedback and encouragement. You can share business info and resources with like-minded women. You'll get detailed reviews of your website and printed marketing materials. You can ask all your business questions in this really private and intimate group. And then finally, you get lifetime access to all of the exclusive business lessons, templates, and resources. So I will share things with you like the magic script for your one-on-one interviews, exactly what to include in your free workshops. We have screen sharing videos to show you how to set up your text systems, what to write on your website, how to build your package and what to include. There's just so much stuff in there, and the library is growing all the time. But I've got a really exciting announcement to make in just a minute, but I also just want to share with you one more story of someone who's done this program. Caitlin is from Brisbane, and she's a hypnobirthing practitioner and a doula, and she says, I think for me the biggest difference is the support. With other certifications I've done the course, and then that's it. I've been left to navigate how to apply what I've learned to real life clients. I love that there is equal focus on the doula material and the business material, because really it's lovely to want to support women, and I wish I could do it for free, but it isn't realistic. And I appreciate that you want us to make more sustainable careers out of postpartum work. The individual and group calls are amazing. The Facebook group is helpful. I don't actually do individual calls anymore, just so you know. And I also like that we have lifetime access to most materials, as I know I will be returning to them after my official graduation date. Now, excuse me, I want you to join me now. This is the most exciting thing, for live masterclasses. I am putting together now a series of live masterclasses. It is not an e-course. It's not just more information that you're never going to implement. Each masterclass, we will go through the learnings together, the lessons together. We will implement together, and you get a chance to ask your questions live. And I think this might be exactly the kind of kickstart and accountability you need. Each masterclass will include a live lesson, Q&A, and some homework for you. It's really practical stuff. And then, of course, you get to share any of your homework in the group, and I will give you feedback. The masterclasses start on the 12th of June, and they will go through those 5 topics that I told you about previously. And I also think I'm going to do some bonus masterclasses that cover anything we missed. So one topic that comes to mind is naming and branding your business. So during the live round, you get to give me feedback, and I will be creating the classes specifically for you. And if there's anything we've missed out, we'll keep doing masterclasses. You know, we might do 1 or 2 more than the 5 that I've already outlined. To keep this really a high level of support and a really safe place for you to share what you're going through, ask your questions, there are only 10 spots available in the live classes. 5 of these spots are already taken. There is 1 more person who's already said yes. I'm just waiting on her payment to confirm her seat, which means there's only 4 seats left in the classes. The first class is on the 12th of June, and it will cover vision and mission statements. You will write your elevator pitch. You will define and refine your ideal client. You'll do some market research, and you'll really get into the right kind of mindset for being a practitioner, being a professional. And we'll also look at some lifestyle goals so that you can set up a business that's going to work for you and your family. And every single masterclass, we will be working on money block tools, because money blocks are so important, as I keep talking about. The masterclasses will be recorded for all future participants, but this will be the only live round. You'll also get over $1,000 off if you join during this promo period. So if you are interested, let me know straight away, because as I said, there's only 4 spots left. So do not apply if you aren't 100% sure that you want to work with newborn mothers. Maybe you're on the fence. It's a whole 1-year program, so it's going to involve a lot of soul searching, a lot of personal development, and you're not going to last the year if you aren't truly and deeply committed. So I really don't want to waste your time and money. So yeah, it's not for you if you're still not really sure if this is what you want to do with your life. Now, this is where this was meant to come. It's not for you if you only want to run an online business. Although I do have the skills in creating e-courses, e-books, crowdfunding, online marketing, and more, I can help you with this, but I also want to make sure that in this mastermind group, we're all on the same journey, we're all on the same page. So it's really for you if you want to do face-to-face work with newborn mothers. You might have some online aspects of your business as well. Oh, excuse me. It's not for you if you are not ready to get started. Maybe your kids are too little, maybe you're busy finishing up some other training, you just don't have the time or money yet for some reason. That's fine. You'll miss out on the live masterclasses, but you can come back later if you feel like the timing is not right. So how does this all sound? I want to know if this feels like a good step for you. Maybe some of you are feeling like it's a red light, it's not a good fit, maybe you're not resonating with what I'm teaching, and that is totally okay. Let me know, well, you don't have to let me know if you're red light, you've probably already stopped listening. So if you are a yellow light, then you might be feeling like, yes, Julia, I love this. I think it's a good fit, but you just have 1 or 2 questions to clear up before you take this step. Maybe you're wondering if this is going to work for your business model, in your town, for your profession. So let me know if you're a yellow light, if you have any questions I can answer. And then finally, some of you will be feeling like a green light, like, oh my gosh, I love this. This is exactly what I need. I'm ready to get started right now and I can't wait. The live masterclasses are exactly what you've been looking for, and the group support is exactly what you need to stay accountable and to stay on track. So yeah, if you are a green light, that's awesome. We have 4 spots left, so really you better jump on it and let me know. Oops, sorry, that slide's not changing. Green lights, if you're ready to get started, your investment normally starts at about $400 a month Australian, which is about $330 if you prefer to pay in greenbacks. Plus you might have some local taxes. But right now, as I'm doing this special promo around the live masterclasses, you can save $1,000. So it's a really good time to join. Now I say $1,000 because it's roughly $1,000 depending on your currency. It's actually more than that. If you're a yellow light and you've still got some questions, then what I want you to do is you can go ahead and ask me a question in the chat below. So you can just type in your questions and I will let you know. Or if you want to have a chat with me on the phone, I have opened up some time only for 4 clarity sessions this week because there are only 4 spots in the program. So I'm just going to be talking to 4 people about the program in the next week or so before the masterclasses start. We've got to do it quick. So you can apply now for one of these clarity sessions. Now, on the call, we will have a chat about your vision for your business, and you can ask me any questions, clear up any doubts, and we can decide together if this is the best step for your business. It's not going to be a pushy sales thing. I really only want people in this program who are going to get immense value, who are really going to fit in, and who are going to just love it and contribute a lot to the rest of the program. So there you have it. You can apply for a clarity session below, or you can ask your questions. And thank you so much for watching. And also feel free to ask me questions about this business model as well if you have any. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.